everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And today I am doing like a tutorial slash like quick review of the Subculture palette. I'm not gonna do swatches. I'm not gonna go into detail about how many milligrams. There's so many videos out there that if you need to know those details, I'll link Stephanie Nicole down below, and she goes through all of that, including the ingredient list. But I kind of wanted to point out some points of this palette. It's beautiful. But yeah, I created this look with this palette. And if you like these kinds of videos, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. So stick around. I'm gonna do the tutorial. I'll leave a timestamp below of when my personal opinion that you may or may not care about down below. Again, my opinion is not clickbait. It's not gonna be drama. It's gonna be straight to the point, because I think we have a lot of dramatic videos out there. I'm not saying that they're all dramatic, and I'm not saying that at all. At the end, you'll see why I think some people might have problems with this, and I can see why people might be upset, but overall you'll get to see my opinion on whether or not I like this palette. So let's just jump on into the tutorial. And we're going to do a lot of blending, so I recommend you just not even fudge with your eyebrows at this moment. I would wait until you're completely done, then do your eyebrows. So I'm going to go in with that soft blending brush, and I'm going to go in with our first color, Dawn. I'm only going to tap into this once, and a lot of the colors you're going to see, I recommend on all of them except for obviously metallics, just to go in once. Don't swirl your brush around. Don't tap a bunch of times to fling the powder everywhere, because this is much more powdery than the modern Renaissance, as I think we all have figured out by now. You only need one. Like, this is meant to be built up. So we're just gonna go once into Dawn, and we're gonna start, and we're gonna use this as our transition shade. Wait, we need to set. It's super pigmented. I'm just gonna set it with a face powder. Alright. Whew. Good call. Caught it. As just a transition crease color. And since we are doing a halo-ish eye, we're going to want to make sure we're taking this into this area as well. And of course this is going to go up a little bit higher than my brow bone, because I do have more inset eyes and I want to be able to see the eyeshadow more. Really get the excess off. Like, tap that bad boy and blow on it. But I would say that Dawn does show up way darker in the pan, and you'll notice that with these lighter shades that you would think are transitions, they're going to be much darker. So I think if you have a deeper skin tone, this palette, you might really love it, because the transition shades show up much darker. Next color, Next color, I'm going to just take this same brush, but we're going to focus, since this is a tapered brush, it focuses on the tip of this brush. I'm going to go into the color Destiny, which is this like light, like army green, and again, just like one little tap. Can you see that on here? And we're going to focus this closer in the crease. I guess I could have went in more with that color, but dude, I'm scared, y'all. Some of you made a big fucking deal about the damn palette, girl. We're gonna still take this a little bit above our crease, as you can see, but not as high as that first transition shade. So we're working in like a little rainbow effect. And we're gonna do that same on the inside. As you can see, I already did my face makeup. I actually did this eye first and then did my face makeup, and that was because if you just use these like one tap in, you are not gonna get any fallout. If you swirl your brush in there and get crazy like you probably would a normal eyeshadow, like that's how I do, I kind of go in a few, you're gonna get crazy fallout. So the key is, if you don't want fallout, just one tap. This is a Morphe 169 brush. It's like this, It's like this little pencil brush, because we're gonna start focusing here and in here, and we're gonna need something smaller, and I actually don't own like flat brushes that are that small. I have one, but it's more of a packing brush, and I don't think it does very well. The next color we're gonna go into is called, I feel like I'm skipping stuff, but I guess not. It's called Untamed, and it's like a greenish teal, like army green teal. And we're gonna, again, take a couple, like I put a couple of taps that was not needed. We can build this up, but we're just gonna tap once. And what I did with this was I just pressed it on this corner right here. You see I'm just pressing it and then pushing it in, like I kind of do a lot of colors. Again, I can go a little stronger with that. Push this into the crease. She's just using the same brush, pushing this into the crease in here. And don't be worried if you get stuff in the middle. I'm going to show you like a little trick I did to pull some of this eyeshadow off. I didn't want to use concealer because I feel like if you use concealer, that can really make your metallics crease underneath. So what I did is I pack it on just like that. You see it? It's like, oh yeah, what's up, what's up? And then as soon as I have most of the color off the brush, I start blending it just with that same brush, you know? Because we will take that bigger fluffy brush and fluff it out a little bit more. And then back in with this fluffy brush, and we're gonna blend this all out. I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna just darken it just a smidge and really focus this on the outest part. It's not supposed to be opaque. I feel like duochromes are kind of like eyeshadow transformers. Like you would put this over a different metallic to get it to reflect a different, you know, a different reflect. Or you're gonna put it over a matte to try and emphasize like a color in the matte or something. Like, I don't think duochromes are meant as metallic. So how we're gonna get this opaque, like how we're gonna get like that, is I take a little bit of tape, I put it on the back of my hand to take some of the stickiness away. Real quick, my footage got completely destroyed. I don't know what happened near this part, but just so you know, I took the tape, it took some of the eyeshadow off, and then I laid down the NYX glitter glue, and now we're going to go into the next step. I don't know why the footage got deleted, but there it is, in case you're confused why we just skipped all of a sudden. And then going in with the color Electric, I'm just going to pack this on top. And you can see when you use that glitter glue, it gives it much, like it does it much, like a lot more justice, like whatever the fuck. I sound like a valley girl right now, I can't think. And once you get this packed onto like the intensity you want, we're gonna go back in and blend, because we can't really just leave it as a blob right here. Do you know what I mean? I'm just gonna take a little bit of that Untamed color and kind of start building that back up, because I feel like we want to overlap this color. You see I'm overlapping it. That's gonna give us this nice faded effect, so it doesn't look like it, I don't know, so it doesn't look like we don't know what we're doing. How about that? And then I'm just gonna go back in with that blending brush and blend it all out. I'm gonna go ahead and do some eyeliner, my eyebrows, and lashes, and then we will come back and finish the lower lid, and then we'll go over the whole palette or whatever the heck you want to say about it. Alright, so this is drying, and while this is drying, we're gonna go ahead and do the brow bone. This is where I cheated. We are not using a color in the Subculture palette. We're gonna actually go in with a color off of the Modern Renaissance palette, so keeping with the theme. There really isn't a color to highlight your brow bone with, personally, that I would want to use, so we just dived into here, just took a shadow brush into Vermeer, which is this color right, okay, come on girl, right here. So I just dived into this, and I just used this to use under my I can't talk. I used this to go under my eyebrow bone. I actually just took the brush from the palette. I actually love these brushes. I think they do really well, if I'm being honest. Back in with Dawn, and I just shaded this everywhere underneath. And I noticed that it doesn't really show up, so I went in with New Wave, which is actually a brighter color, because we are doing a different like color scheme down here. And I just went under this and it showed up much nicer. Again, one tap people. I chose this color because we're gonna go in with All Star next using a pencil brush. And I thought that this like orangey color would really make this next red pop, because it is more of a muted, it's more of a muted maroon. And I just used this and I ran this underneath everything. Using the same brush, I went into Rowdy, and this one is really pigmented, so you're gonna wanna be careful with this. And I'm just gonna use this on the outer edge to smoke it out and kind of meet up with that black liner we threw down. Again, I literally use the same brush. If you see the theme of my channel, I'm here for the ease. I went in with Adorn because, first of all, this is the only metallic shade in the palette, and this is gorgeous. So I took this and I put it towards the inner half of my line. And then upon looking on it, I realized it didn't really fit with everything else. Like, the color didn't really go with it. We're going with more of a limey green. So I actually took a small brush. This is the Morphe M508. It's like a small little shader brush, as you can see. Went into Cube, which is that reflecting. This is a really like chalky, not chalky, it's a really clumpy kind of thing. So you wanna like press your brush into this. I placed this in the inner corner and then I dragged it towards this on top of Adorn. And it kind of gave it a more like magenta color. Oh god, things are falling. Eyeliner, I used this dark green, hunter green eyeliner by ColourPop, and it is in the color Workout. And I just use that to line everything. That's how it came out. So that is the whole completed tutorial. I went really ham with it. I thought, why not? You could totally do something subtle with this palette. Like, you have the colors Mercury, Destiny, Fudge, even this edge color, and like Roxy, like these colors, Dawn. These are all very subtle colors. I obviously haven't dipped into all of them, but I don't want to do swatches with this because I think we've all seen the swatches. I think we all know that they're crazy pigmented. I mean, they really are, except for the duochromes, but honestly, I haven't seen a duochrome that's actually super pigmented, so I'm not really concerned about that. Here's my spiel on this if you want like a no like drama, like click my video for views kind of video. This is a good palette. I do not recommend it if you are not very good with eyeshadow, because these are definitely super pigmented where you have to make sure you're focusing on blending in. These colors are just super, they're fun, but they're also not neon. There are pops of color, but these are not like neon, like neon green and like a neon teal and then this red. These are not neon. Misha, over there. These are very muted primary colors. Like, they're really beautiful, so I like that because I don't necessarily want to wear neon every day. The Cube one I think is the hardest to work with because you have to find a good brush for it. I don't even think it picks up on your finger well enough. Like, I don't know how to do it. Electric, you definitely should go in with a glitter glue or use your finger. Finger swatch is really pretty, but using a like a brush just does not want to pick up. And that's my other qualm with this. Like, I don't want people to say that this is such a shitty palette because the metallics don't work. It's so funny because I was watching people, and the normal people that I've seen, they're like, I never go into a metallic or anything without Fix Plus. None of them used Fix Plus to go into this palette, and I'm just sitting there thinking, why didn't you even try that? Like, every time I see you use another eyeshadow, you're either already using Fix Plus to put it on to make it very metallic and like show-offy, or if it's not showing up, you're like, I'm gonna go in with Fix Plus. But there was a few YouTubers on there that I saw, they didn't put any Fix Plus down, and then they were complaining about how there's no payoff. But I'm like, but you didn't even try all your options. Like, maybe these aren't meant for, you know, brush. Like, I think these are meant, except for this Adorn shade, that was one finger swipe, and that is your only metallic. These two are duochromes, this one's metallic, and this is like beautiful. Oh my goodness, I can't, like, if you put this on a lid and then you just smoked it out with like New Wave and like Roxy, or like even smoked it out with some Fudge, that would be so freaking gorgeous. Like, so I don't understand that. My other thing I didn't get with people, and I don't want people to be scared about, is that yes, it's super pigmented, but I did not personally myself have a problem with it being patchy. I had it being patchy with a certain brush, but this was the only brush out of all my brushes that I had a problem with, not even with the Anastasia brush that it comes with. Everything else worked except for this brush, so I'm just taking it. It didn't like this brush, whatever its reason being. But when people realized that it was super pigmented and it was super powdery, and they would put their brush in there and they're like, I don't know, let's example. They were like, it's so powdery, and they're like still punching it, and then they're trying to put it on their like eye, and then it's all patchy, and it's like, okay, and then they realize that didn't work, and instead of just realizing that maybe I should go with a lighter hand, they keep punching into all the other colors. So it's like, what I didn't understand is, if you learned the first time putting your brush in that it's super pigmented, and you went into a different color the second time and you kept doing that, and you're getting the same results, like what did you expect? I had the best experience, like I told you in my tutorial, just put 1. Like I would go in here and I would go 1. Like that's all you need. And I would even tap all this out because I was so scared because people were complaining so much about it. I would tap it out, and this is still like a good amount of pigment. There was times where it's like I could have went a little darker, like this Untamed one, I could have went a little darker and it would have been fine. But seeing reviews, seeing what Norvina posted, I realized you don't need to swirl your brush in all around. So I think she should have put that out there first before this palette launched. Because again, I can see that, like we first go in and we think it's like a modern Renaissance palette, and we're just going in, and then we're realizing that it's way too much pigment, and it's just making the color darker, and it's just not blended out. Like you still, I think what was happening is people were going in there with a crap ton product, putting it on there and then blending it out, not realizing there was still so much just sitting on the eyelid. So when you went in with a different color, you started actually blending away more of the powder, and then it just would blend away instead of building up to the color they wanted, and it was attaching and settling down, I guess I want to say. I don't even know the word, but you want to build it up. You can't just punch on all the color and not fully blend it out, and then when you go in to blend something else out, it's blending each other out and you're freaking out. Well, it's like, what did you expect? Like you still have powder basically sitting on your eyes. Like, I don't know. So I went in like just a little punch, like little tap, and I went in and blended it out, and I had no problems. I think there is a learning curve. Well, yes, you shouldn't have to relearn to put eyeshadow on, but at the same time, new formulas, new concepts, everything comes out that's new, and if you expect that you're gonna be able to do the same thing until the day you die and everything's gonna work the same, you're sadly mistaken. Things change, new formulas come up, and there's a new way to put on eyeshadow, and this one, it's just so pigmented you don't need to go in there like crazy, which is different for us because we feel like we do need to normally like swirl a brush in there or tap it a few times like we normally do. You don't need to do it with this, and trust me, if you just tap it once and work with it, it's gonna blend out well. Oh my god, am I missing mascara on one side? You guys, I went through that whole video and I don't have mascara on this bottom lash. Why you don't tell me? How come you don't tell me? But yeah, I think that is all I have for today. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!